Alrighty, hello folks, and good morning. So I wanted to share a quick little sort of PSA here for those folks that are a real fan of the counter system from Tactics Ogre Reborn, that were maybe on the fence for going and trying One Vision, because that's a system that I absolutely love in Reborn. Going and specifically picking out counters of particular elements and whatever else. And you might have potentially heard that sentiment before of like, well, anything that Reborn has done, One Vision either is doing or has already done in some capacity, unless it's voice acting. And so to that end, I just wanted to show something here because that counter system actually kind of quietly made itself into One Vision as of the most recent patch. However, there's a bit more to it. So for example, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at this guy. So this guy over here happens to be a cleric. I mean, normally we'd probably do about something like 60 to 70 with Canopus in this particular instance, with his mace in a normal situation. However, Breach ended up getting improved, Averse ended up getting improved, and essentially the Averse status more or less became the Elemental Weakness status from Reborn. So for example, in this case, even with Strengthen and Breach playing a part, if he were to, let's say, go up and attempt to hit the guy, he still would be doing roughly like 60%. He's still not completely decimating him, but we switch over to the Tyrant's Fist over here, and he's basically one-shotting the guy, and this is pretty damn consistent. Strengthen, Breach, and Element, just like Reborn, will oftentimes end up resulting in a one-shot, which is just really satisfying to see. In this particular case, technically, I think the Breach is like 40% instead of 50%. But I think the Strengthen is also 40% in the upward direction, as opposed to, I think it was like 15% in Reborn. Same thing with the Averse status being roughly in the 40% ballpark, if I remember correctly, whereas it would be 30 in Reborn there. So it's just fascinating to see that elemental finishers do actually have their own sort of customizable niche here, because you might have noticed when it comes to Canopus, that's the reason that I have him carrying around Spark Sphere. There's a really fun build that you can do with Canopus. Actually, it's one of the things that I was planning to recommend in a sort of beginner's guide that I was originally planning to do today, and then I had to go replace the starter on my car, and that ended up being a complete bitch to do for about 5 hours. Anyway, point is, you get Spark Sphere right at the very start. Canopus starts with a hammer skill. You get a Morning Star pretty much immediately. You give him that, you train him up with some hammers, you give him a Spark Sphere. He basically Spark Spheres on his way to go hit somebody, follows up with that Tyrant's Mace. It is meaty and beautiful. So either way, I just wanted to show that out there for any folks that were kind of curious as to whether or not this would be a thing for One Vision. That yeah, it functionally speaking is a thing at this point. The buffed debuffs, elemental weaknesses from Averse and stuff like that. It's essentially a more freeform version of what Reborn does, and you can create it yourself at any given moment, which is just absolutely fantastic. I love that system. So yeah, just kind of throwing that out there. Anyway, I gotta get going. Y'all have yourselves a good one, and take care. I'll have the actual, like, new beginner's guide for One Vision relatively soonish. As you might be able to tell, I finally got my recording Vita going, so that's fun. Anyway, I gotta get going. Y'all take care. Bye.